Audio. Today is Monday, October 6th, 2025. This is First Alert Weather Plus. Meteorologist Nicholas Snider here, giving you the latest on what you need to know in terms of the weather. First of all, we are going to turn that background noise off. My apologies. We're having a few technical difficulties up here today, but nonetheless, we are going on with our episode of First Alert Weather Plus, episode 34 here. We have a lot to discuss, so let's get right into it. Of course, flooding is going to be a concern for your day tomorrow. We'll talk about that, what you can expect. There is a First Alert Weather Day there. Finally, some fall-like conditions moving into the area as well. And we'll get you a look at that long-term forecast here for you, as far as what we can expect here. Big area of low pressure to the north and west here. That is up here, that swirl you see near Winnipeg, Canada. This area of low pressure here is what's driving all this. Meanwhile, further to the south, we have an abundance of humidity that will begin to work its way on in from the Gulf, and this will continue to work its way to the north. We're already seeing some pretty heavy rain in parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, and all of that activity will begin heading our way. You can see the blossoming, in fact, of all of that moisture that is further to the south. We'll highlight that for you right in here. Again, southwest Kentucky, west Tennessee, southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, seeing the bulk of the activity overhead. And it's definitely something we are keeping a very, very close eye on here in terms of what you can expect for some active conditions to be working on in. So let's move the radar forward. Again, we'll show you what exactly we're seeing here on the actual radar picture. Notice the heavy rain shower activity, the yellows, the oranges, the reds showing up toward Memphis here. We're also seeing some of that activity up into right along the Mississippi Valley here, southern Illinois, and into parts of western Kentucky right in here. A good bullseye of heavy rain. And all this activity is working its way toward our viewing area within the coming hours and coming days. And it's something, again, we're keeping a close eye on. A reason why we do have a First Alert Weather Day for your day tomorrow. So let's kind of talk about kind of the dynamics associated with this system. We'll pause it right here. I want to show you this area of high winds high up in the sky. This is our lower level jet. Still pretty high up in the sky, about a kilometer or two above the Earth's surface, but it's telling us how fast the winds are going. And when you see a kind of stopping of that wind, where it just kind of goes really fast and then slows down, a convergence of air, you're going to see a rising of that air, and that will focus an area of heavy rain during the morning hours tomorrow in this zone. In fact, I'll get rid of that next circle, or that previous circle you could see. An area of heavy rain in this zone that I'm highlighting for you from Illinois through Indiana, southern Ohio, parts of Kentucky. In the morning time frame tomorrow, we could see a band of maybe 2 or 3 inches of rain falling in that general area. Let's move this forward now into the nighttime. This is our European model, by the way. We'll show you a few different models, a few different looks at this. Our next batch of heavier rain will come in the evening, a little bit less in the heavy side, but showing up in this general area tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. That could lead to some flash flooding tomorrow night and into the morning hours of your day on Wednesday. Certainly, again, something we're keeping a close eye on. That's our European model. It'll show up in different spots depending on the model we're looking at. Let's now look at our in-house model, the graph model. Now, this one's a little bit different. This keeps the heaviest rain further to the south in western Kentucky and southwest Kentucky. And as we move this forward, you'll see how this kind of weakens and really just loses its strength once it moves toward our viewing area. But a good band of heavy rain still in this general area, and that fades away as it moves to the north and east. So the in-house model, a little bit less aggressive in terms of the heavy rain. A lot of the modeling has kind of conformed to what the Euro's saying right now, so we're going to go with what that's saying, and we'll show you what that means for you in just a minute. But a general consensus is there's that initial band of heavy rain during the morning hours of your Tuesday, the yellows, the oranges, and reds up here toward US 50, from Athens toward MacArthur, toward Chillicothe, back to the west out towards Cincinnati. We'll get rid of that red circle for you. And then once we head into the evening, I want you to notice where now the heavy rain is focused toward Huntington, toward Charleston, toward Logan and Williamson, that general area, Lavalette even down there into Wayne County, West Virginia. That's where that heavier rain will set up during the overnight of tomorrow night and into your day Wednesday, before we start to see some drier and clearer conditions for the day on Wednesday. So a few of our models here. Again, there is this consensus, the northern dagger here, 1 to 2, maybe 2.5 to 3 inches of rain up to the north during the morning time frame of your day Tuesday. And then Tuesday night into Wednesday, the second dagger here, isolated pockets of 2 to 3 inches where you see these darker orange areas here out towards Salyersville, West Liberty, further to the east over toward Inez, even into portions of Johnson County, Kentucky toward Paintsville. You're seeing that 2 to 3 inches. Further to the east, also a bullseye, eastern Kanawha, southeastern Roane, central Clay, parts of Braxton County in that dagger. That's one of the models. Here's our NAM model. Now, the NAM model, as of our latest afternoon run, a bit less aggressive and kind of conforming to our in-house model where the heaviest rain is further to the south and west of Lexington, down here along the I-65, I-75 corridors in this zone right here. That is what we want to see because even if we do see under an inch of rain, it's still beneficial rains for a lot of us. We would want to see ideally 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain to keep it under flood concern. So the NAM is kind of the ideal solution for the area. This is our in-house model, kind of showing a similar situation here. Let's back this up a little bit. But generally, the colors you'll see, again, where this yellow, where this orange, and even some areas of red are showing up back to the west, whereas over us, for the most part, we're staying dry. Still having a good dagger of rain, though, in this general area right in here that we're watching, but it is much lower compared to the European. And the HER model, the high-resolution American model, showing a very similar situation to what the European model said. Notice the uncertainty. There's still a lot of uncertainty associated with this system, but the morning dagger up here and the afternoon dagger and the evening dagger on here. Our initial forecast showing a general 2 to 2.5 inches of rain, and I'll kind of draw this out for you. The initial round up here in southern Ohio, the second round somewhere in this zone into eastern Kentucky. The best bets, these two general areas are, in my opinion, your highest risks of seeing the potential of some isolated flash flooding during your evening and overnight tomorrow, further to the south and further to the north during your morning time frame tomorrow up in southern Ohio. That's what we have to keep an eye on. The Weather Prediction Center, College Park, Maryland, has the entire area under a level 2 of 4 slight risk of excessive rainfall here in this yellow. So that means basically that any one location within our viewing area could see a flash flood. But again, in those two areas, and again, I'll highlight this for you right here, this zone and this general zone right in here, having the best bets at seeing some isolated flash flooding. It's not going to be a widespread event. It's nothing like what we saw back on Valentine's Day this past year, where Pikeville was underwater, where South Williamson was seeing flash river flooding along the Tug Fork. Nothing like that. But pockets of isolated flash flooding could certainly be a possibility here. Now, in the long-term forecast, we're looking fall-like. Beyond the day tomorrow, a big area of high pressure is going to work its way on in. Notice the cooler colors up here, the blues and the purples, starting to filter their way on in. It is going to feel downright nice by the time we head into the middle and end of this week. You're talking highs in the 60s and overnight lows, maybe frost conditions could be expected with lows in the low 40s and a few upper 30s here or there. Here's Wednesday's highs. Again, lower and middle 70s. Overnight lows, and again, we'll show you different models here. Lower and middle 40s, maybe a few upper 30s if you're headed up toward the Athens area, up toward MacArthur. My apologies for moving the map there. Up toward Athens, up toward MacArthur, places like that. Out toward Richwood, overnight low of 37. That is definitely a frost producer. Thursday's highs likely only in the 60s, feeling very fall-like. Back into the 40s overnight Thursday night. And kind of the same detail here on the European model. Again, upper 60s, lower 70s for Tuesdays and Wednesdays highs. Overnight lows will bottom out into the 40s and 50s here. Not getting quite as cool as where we were on the American National Blend of models, but still looking very impressive and very fall-like over much of the area. So definitely something we are really looking forward to. And again, highs in the 60s. Perfect timing, by the way, for the Bob Evans Farm Festival, which I'll show you a forecast for in just a little bit. GFS model, the American model, kind of the same situation. Mid-60s showing highs for Tuesday. Don't think it's going to be quite that cool, but it's going to feel very, very nice. Upper 60s and lower 70s Wednesday night. Upper 30s, lower 40s Thursday. And as we head into Thursday night, again, we're looking very, very nice. So here's that Bob Evans Farm Festival forecast for you. While those overnight lows are going to be on the cooler side of things, the daytime highs are going to feel fantastic. We're reaching back into the middle and upper 70s, lower and middle 70s for Saturday, and upper 60s and lower 70s for Sunday. And yes, we are staying dry for the entire weekend. I can guarantee that. Not really looking too bad for any fun on the farm festivities you could have all weekend here. Let's get back to that water vapor satellite imagery. I did show you that low pressure, but there's a lot more activity to talk about as we head further to the north and west here, with a new area of low pressure brewing out here in the Pacific Ocean. And what this is going to do is actually flip our pattern in the long term here, where we are going to be seeing actually some warmer than normal conditions once we head into next week. This is thanks to, again, much cooler and area of low pressure that's out over the Pacific. That is going to bring in some cooler conditions to much of the west coast here. So, again, in the short term, we're talking cooler conditions for the rest of this week. But once we head into the middle and end of next week, we're going to start to see an area of high pressure that will begin to work its way further to the east, and it's going to pump in some of these warmer conditions further to the south back into our area, heading into, let's say, the beginning of next week. Now, it's still not going to feel summer-like. I think we're done for the most part with summer-like weather over much of the region. But notice as this cooler air back here filters back in, thanks to this little dip in the jet stream, the overall pattern will be cooler out west and somewhat warmer for the eastern half of the United States right in here, as those jet stream winds kind of push off to the north and allow some warmer conditions to, again, work on in. That's the European model. Let's go to the American model. And again, it's showing the same general situation. We initially start cooler, but some warmer conditions work back in heading into the end of the week and into the weekend. Here's our air mass pattern. Again, we are looking at that eastern Pacific oscillation, allowing it to bring in some cooler air. And in fact, we'll go backtracking on here to kind of show you the general situation toward the middle of this week. Notice that eastern Pacific oscillation, the warmer air that's filtering on in to much of Alaska and into the eastern Pacific. That's allowing the cooler air from the poles to work their way on down. And as we move this forward, we get some cooler air back into Alaska. And again, once we head into next week, we're looking warmer than normal. Where you see those oranges, where you see those yellows, that indicates some warmer conditions in the long term. So yes, in the midterm, we are looking a little bit cooler than normal, more fall-like, but eventually we're looking warmer conditions as we head back into the mid and intermediate to long-range forecast there, especially toward the end of next week, where could be feeling on the warmer side for sure, at least temperatures above average. So 6 to 10 days, I know we're looking cooler for the rest of this week, but still remaining above average. Meanwhile, the Climate Prediction Center has much of the western part of the United States in cooler than normal temperatures, and we're looking slightly drier than normal, if not slightly drier, pretty average as far as that precipitation goes. Take away Tuesday, I bet we would be below average in terms of that precipitation. Because of the lack of precipitation that could be headed our way. Here's our Super 7-day forecast. We are talking about, again, the potential of rain. That rain chance will exit the area as we head into Wednesday. I'll take myself off of here so you can get a better look at the conditions that we are seeing. But Wednesday, the rain will shift further to the south and east, so better rain chances will come in the morning time frame. Once we head into the afternoon hours of Wednesday, we'll be looking at drier conditions and even more sunshine working in. And that sets the stage for those 60s and sunny conditions once we head into Thursday. Meanwhile, back into the upper 60s and lower 70s once we head into the weekend. And we're still staying dry. Could be an isolated chance of a shower east of I-77 as we head into Sunday. But overall, we are not looking too bad over much of the region. This is First Alert Weather Plus. We give you the first alert to everything you need to know about weather-wise. A broad look at the United States in terms of temperatures, any sort of active weather that's headed our way. Certainly we have active weather headed our way tomorrow. That's why we're giving you that heads up. And ultimately, again, we'll see. My first call on the rain, by the way, I'll pull that up for you so you can get an idea of what we're expecting here in the weather office here at WSAZ. And we'll get that up for you right here. This is generally what I'm thinking. I do think we'll be able to whittle back this orange zone that we're seeing right here. And that's, again, thanks to just some uncertainty in the forecast. But this orange zone should be much tighter once we head into tomorrow and over a more pinpointed area. Once we get that new data in, we'll certainly give you that first alert and nail that forecast down for you. But anyway, we're giving you that first alert to everything you need to know about in terms of the weather. We'll give you cool science experiments, too, on our YouTube channel. Check us out, WSAZ First Alert Weather Plus with the Wednesday Weather Lab. Got some new exclusive content coming to that as well. You can check us out on YouTube. All of our old YouTube episodes are up. It's just WSAZ First Alert Weather Plus there. We also are on WSAZ.com. You can stream us on any of the apps, the WSAZ News app on your phone, or for Roku, Apple TV, things like that. And you can follow us on Facebook. I'm Meteorologist Nicholas Snider on Facebook. Dylan is Dylan Goday Weather. Tony is Tony Cavalier. And Hannah is Meteorologist Hannah Hayes. In the meantime, I'm Meteorologist Nicholas Snider. Make it a great Monday.